Hi everyone and welcome to the YouTube channel. I'm so excited to have you here. This is something I've thought about doing for a really long time and I want to do these vlog style videos just so that you can understand a little bit more about me and what it is that I do. So if you don't know me, my name's Paul Sparks. I have a business called Paul Sparks Spiritual Coach and I teach one-to-one coaching and monthly online classes. I have been studying spirituality for 21 years. My teacher is based in New York. And for me, spirituality is an essential part of my day-to-day. So these vlogs will be a little bit of insight into what it actually means, what it is that I do. I think it's the most commonly asked question that I get from people, especially when I meet them in nights out. People go, what is it you actually do? I don't understand. So hopefully these vlog episodes will allow me to give you some insight into what goes on behind the scenes, to help you understand the benefits of one-to-one coaching. And I can also share some client journeys, some of my own story, and just share really what's been going on in my life. So I think to start off with, I would say there's a lot of misconceptions about spirituality and there's a lot of different ways that people interpret the word. For me, spirituality is all about you really tapping into your highest self. If we think about that example of our potential, right? The best version of us where we're connected to our purpose, where we live by our values, that we understand what it is that we want and how to get there. For me, that's spirituality. It always makes me laugh when people say that they're not spiritual, because actually every single person has a spiritual element to them. And I think that what I would say is I coach people from all walks of life. It's really random, the people that come to me. So it can be a new mum who is struggling to find her identity after she's had a child. It can be a young man who's 22, who's starting out in his business and wants to make more money, or just anybody who is looking to understand themselves in a deeper level and want more from life. This is not something that people come to because they have a problem, right? It's not like therapy. It's someone who comes with a bit of emotional intelligence and says, actually, I've got some barriers that are stopping me getting to my next level and whatever that may look like. So it can help with relationships, it can help with career, it could be many things. Self-worth is a big thing that we talk about quite often. And I really love what I do. I feel really privileged to be in the place that I'm able to coach other people. And I think that what I would say is, with my own study, it's made such a huge difference to every aspect of my life. So, you know, as you can imagine, in that 20 odd years, I've had ups and downs, I've had challenges, but having a spiritual path has allowed me to learn lessons from those challenges, to understand that everything that's coming into my life and every person that comes into my life has a purpose, that I can learn something from it, that I can take the negative things that have happened or the challenges that I have and find ways to elevate, so that I'm always using difficulty to transform, but also soaking up the most of the fulfilling things in my life as well. So my friends will tell you I talk about spirituality all the time. I'm always sharing lessons that I've learned, and I really hope that with this YouTube channel I can share regularly little snippets of things, little stories, and you know, whatever it is that I'm studying as well. So I guess the first question, right, is what does one-to-one coaching look like? What does it actually mean? So when someone comes to me for one-to-one, we do it in blocks of 4. So the first month we will look at their values. I'm really big on values because I think that allows us to understand your starting point. What is it that you stand for? And I have to say, like, my own teacher asked me a couple of years ago when I was probably 18 years into my study what my values were, and I was embarrassed that I didn't know, right? I couldn't tell you what they were. But when you really think about it, when I say your values, it's like what makes you passionate, what lights you up, right? Where is the starting point? Because if we don't know that, we're never going to get to where it is that we want to get to. So we talk about values. I'll challenge people on them as well, right? Because what I find, including myself, is that very often we have values, but our actions don't match that. So let's think of an example. A person says that their value is financial freedom and they really want to build a successful business and they value hard work. Okay, great, sounds amazing. But when we look at their actions, they're actually quite lazy. They don't want to put the work in, and you know, they only want to work 2 days a week. That isn't going to work. So what that person values and what they truly desire is not living in alignment with how they're acting day to day. So I will look at the person's values, I'll look at their desires, because actually very often we don't really know what it is that we truly want. So we get to the root of what it is you're actually looking for. You know, they're not questions that were necessarily asked when we're younger. And then probably the most important part is we'll find the conflicting beliefs that you may have, or the barriers that you have that are holding you back from getting to that, right? So, you know, I think another example would be a person comes to me and says, I want to meet my soulmate. I'm really ready. I want that meaningful relationship. But when we dig into their mindset about relationships, they maybe have something that says that they don't deserve it, that they don't deserve love. Those two realities can't live at the same time. In tandem. So we will explore those sort of limited beliefs. We will look at how we transform them and then move that person forward towards what it is that they're actually looking for. I think the other thing I would say is that I am quite hard hitting. So it is not fluffy. This is not something that you just think about some ideas and it's really nice. These are principles that you actually have to live by, and don't have to live by, but you would implement them in your life and see practical change. So it's very important to me that spirituality doesn't seem, you know, like airy-fairy and lofty and it's like a nice idea. Actually, these are tools that should be put into your life and that you can see the benefits for yourself. I think what I would also add is that for some people, they like to add on as a sort of complement to the one-to-one study, or maybe people who are just putting their toe in the water. I also do the monthly online class. So the class is done on Zoom. It's a really nice way for people to explore if they're not sure, because the cameras are off, the microphones are off. You can type in the chat live, but we really tackle topics that I think all of us face that are universal. So we look at things like learning to let go, looking at rejection, exploring fear. The last class that I did was gratitude, right? So it's really big topics. There's a lot of great discussion. We've got a core group of people who come to the class every month. And I think for me, that allows existing one-to-one clients to deepen their study and to also connect with like-minded people. But for people who maybe don't feel ready for that one-to-one yet, it gives them a starting point as well. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into what I do. If you have any questions, I'm always happy to chat through it in a bit more detail. I had a session with someone who is only on their third session with me in one-to-ones recently, and he said, you know, like I had no idea what we were going to delve into and how powerful this would be just from looking at your Instagram content, which kind of spurred me on to say that actually I think that these longer form videos will be really helpful. So I hope you join me on the journey. We'll be uploading these regularly, and thank you so much for tuning in.